And he was a technical trader at first, saw suddenly, right, this news trading, this is incredible, right? Seeing Trump saying something, he comes up with a plan, takes a trade and says, wow, all right, this is me.
Those who are not really interested in the news or the early stage of development, they go back to their technicals and just back to normal. Those who are a little bit more advanced or just interested in what's happening, you can hear discussions.
Now I want you guys to look at it. I want you guys to assess it. I want you to be able to backtrack it, reverse engineer the trade.
Many traders coming after a couple of months, why am I not making money? And well, you've just been there for 3 months. Eventually, you can build a career on a couple of trades. You don't have to trade everything.
What would you say do you see in the separation of the grads? What are the things that you really like to see? What are the things that really make you get intrigued and go, wow, it's really good to see this particular person doing X or Y?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, every morning we do a briefing, so we prepare for the day, and this is a great place to see who is bringing what on the floor. And I see that those who stand out is those who, they come on the trading floor and they start to listen. They start to observe and try to understand what's happening, rather than just bringing their opinion and wanting to be right about how the day could be. So I'm gonna be sensitive to that, and then so those who come with a balanced approach and they build their scenarios from something that is substantial, that is rather positive, if we see that early on. The other thing I would say that stands out is news trading. Most traders that join the floor, they are technical traders because you can do that from home and it's relatively open. Let's say you have a lot of content on YouTube and even on our channel, right? So those who start to open to news trading and start to capture what is important, meaning where are the triggers in the markets and the big headlines. Some are not interested in news and they stay away from them, but eventually they come to it because every morning we talk about that, like what could be the next big headline, what could move the markets, and just even if there is no headline to come, what is the sentiment of the market for the day? And this is based on several factors, and we want to lay that straight away in the morning. So I'm looking at that as well. I see also patience when a trader is patient with the process, and I think Alex Haywood could mention that, but he had many traders coming after a couple of months. Why am I not making money? And well, you've just been there for 3 months. So, give yourself time to understand the process, give yourself time to understand, where it's leading and building your edge. And so I don't know if you've spotted anything particular, but for me, these are probably the three that stand out.
Yeah, because it's great to get your opinion as well, because for myself, but I really love to sort of come onto that floor, and there might be times maybe a big movement has happened in the markets, maybe a big news headline, or it could be, a technical play or whatever it be, especially where I'm seeing where, some of our big traders are trading. I really want to kind of stimulate that curiosity. Again, I like to come to the floor, discuss that something's happened, and it would be great to actually hear from your perspective, because I'm sure you've probably heard me do it a million times, where I'll say, right, there's been a big move in the Bund this morning, or there was a huge move in oil. What was the headline? What was what was this? What was the response? I don't want to come onto the floor with the grads and say, this is what's been happening. This is what you should be doing. It's more of, this has happened. Now I want you guys to look at it. I want you guys to assess it. I want you to be able to backtrack it, reverse engineer the trade, reverse engineer the process. So when I leave that room, I'd like to get your opinion on what are the discussions like when I do that. Does everyone just get quiet, put their headphones on and stick to doing what they're doing, or is there a discussion there? And are these things that we like to see on the floor?
Yeah, well, I've seen a couple of times where there's a big move in the markets, and then you step in and then we raise awareness. That's what we do, right? I would say that it's those who are not really interested in the news or the early stage of development, they go back to their technicals and just back to normal. those who are a little bit more advanced or just interested in what's happening, you can hear discussions. You can hear traders bouncing ideas like, okay, at what time did the headline come? Why do you think that is? Or let's ask AI to see what we can get out of this. And so you hear these conversations, but then you have other traders that just are just not interested in what's happening, or maybe it's too much. Sometimes it's just too much information because you are learning so much info. Like the first 6 months, you get overwhelmed by everything you learn. Plus, you hear the news all day, and it can be difficult to make sense of what's happening. But I would say eventually, all the junior traders are at least getting an understanding, even though they don't want to trade it, but at least they say, okay, this happened because of that, and they start to make connections. And you see that in the morning briefings, where the knowledge is increasing every day. It's getting better and better.
Yeah, and that's such a lovely thing to hear from my point of view, because it's and again, we have this scent framework. Everyone, there are so many edge domains, right? 4 or 5 edge domains. We're not expecting everyone to be slamming their productivity on those edge domains at full scale. That everyone's going to be more comfortable at something. And again, like you said previously, a lot of the guys will come to us and they started from technicals, because technicals is something that pretty much everyone can learn. It's very easy to grasp from a YouTube learning experience before they come to us. But then when they see that, there's been a big headline move, or there's been, geopolitical risk, or there's been, big issues with metals or whatnot, they're there to kind of say, okay, something's happened here. How can I now approach this? And we don't expect everybody, from day one when they come in, they're going to say, oh, okay, I need to really, look and learn all of these things, because some people, especially if we start talking about central bank things, interest rates, and or speakers just discussing things, it is a lot more of a harder concept to learn. But all we want to do is, like you rightfully said, there is bringing in that awareness. They need to know why something moved, where it was possible to make money. Doesn't mean that they're going to be completely confident and comfortable to approach that and to trade it, but they need to at least have that awareness to be running that. So that's it's exactly what we want to see. And from my point of view, something that we've implemented between all of our offices, because we want all of our grads, regardless of what trading floor they're on, we want them all to be producing the same amount of effort and content for their own benefit, and also for the benefit of each other as peers. And things like the daily preps that they all do in the mornings, they summarize it at the end of the prep, and they have their own internal discussions, and they can see, the London office are also talking about this. We didn't see that today. And it kind of exposes, like, oh, there's some curiosity there. Like, what is it? And they start to approach conversations, workshops. We get a lot of the guys, especially on stage 2, but anyone that's on the blueprint, it's incredible for them to do workshops on a trade that they've just taken, or a trade that they missed, or an idea, or a process, because in that way that's all shared as well between themselves, and they can open up that knowledge base of learning from each other, as much as, of course, learning from the markets, which is something that we're very strong on pushing with them all.
I would add something, that at the beginning, the junior traders, they want to do everything, they want to trade everything, and then it's our role, show them where they are making money and where they are losing. Eventually, you can build a career on a couple of trades. You don't have to trade everything. And I think it's our role as well to raise awareness for the traders about their trading personality, if I can put it that way. Meaning, not all traders will be scalpers, and not all traders will be swing traders. Our top elite traders can do anything, I'm pretty sure. But you still, if you read the book, Traders of Our Time, you will see that some like to be just a couple of seconds in the market, a couple of minutes maybe, and some will take swings for a couple of hours. So these are two different type of tradings, and we want to also bring that awareness early on, to make sure that the junior traders are not losing themselves in a personality that is not theirs, right?
Yeah, no, exactly that. And you know, for myself and also the heads of the other floors, you know, we do our one-on-ones with grads, you know, every month, twice a month. So like a midpoint check-in, how we're doing, and then of course the end of the month. And it's such a good place to kind of look, because again, you know, we're going to push them to where they're what's actually working for that particular individual, because everybody's going to have their own skills and strengths in certain things. Of course, if somebody is very strong on, let's say, news trading, and we had that. I mean, you know, I spoke about it on the last podcast I did with Alex, that, you know, 2025 was a very interesting year of separation, right? The first 6 months, Trump coming to power, the tariff trades, everything was, you know, crazy. And then the next 6 months, everything started to kind of fall off by the wayside, and the best traders of the firm, you know, knew when to pull the handbrake. When things weren't working from a news perspective, they knew how to adjust their sizing and how to retain their P&L as opposed to just letting it bleed away. So when it comes to the grads, and, you know, we had a grad, you know, come in last year, you know, in the thick of it all with the tariffs, came in. He was a technical trader at first, saw suddenly, right, this news trading, this is incredible, right? You're seeing Trump saying something, he comes up with a plan, takes the trade and says, wow, all right, this is me. This is me. And he loved news trading from that point on, which was amazing to see. And to give him so much credit, you know, he really capitalized on it. He really, really wanted to push on the news trading, and his macro understanding now is incredible. But as with anything, the fields of where you can mine for profitability can change. And, you know, that's the whole idea of this hybrid system of, okay, if this is not working right now, let's say, you know, especially we look at the back end of last year, you know, the markets were reacting very differently to the news, which meant we have to find our edge to our opportunity somewhere else. And this is where that one-on-one kind of thing works. And I sit down with the guys to say, okay, this is working, this isn't working, and we push them to at least explore other avenues, but not to do so dangerously.
Yeah, you need to when you join. I mean, of course, you can learn new things, and all of a sudden you can think like, "Oh, I found my edge," but an edge can change over time. So that means you need a portfolio of trades to build a career. But you know, there's another edge that we don't talk a lot about, but it's emotional resilience. And I just want to mention that because, you know, I've seen all types of junior traders coming, and at first you don't really see the difference. Everybody seems resilient, but after a couple of months, you realize that okay, there's, you know, one of them has emotional outburst, and you're thinking, well, it's a simulation account, so what is gonna be like when it's a live account, right? And this is for me a red flag. Like, if you're not able to stay composed during a simulation phase, sure, there is pressure. Sure, we give you targets. Sure, we try to push you, but you know, it's still simulation. I don't know if you want to say something on that, but it's big.
I mean, for me as well, of course, you know, when I'm taking that final decision on when I feel somebody is ready to go live, my blueprint program, in 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, however long it's going to take for them, that's such a huge response mechanism that I need to be able to see and understand. But if you're under pressure on sim, and of course there's pressure, there's definitely pressure because you have to perform. You know, that's what you're ultimately here to do. If you can't perform, if you think, no, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and you can't perform, there's nothing wrong with that, because you then need to adapt, and that's going to be where our job comes in, where we, you know, interject and we try to work with you. But if we're going to see that there's going to be big emotional outbursts or blame on, you know, this day didn't work out for me, this trade didn't work out for that, I got stopped out because of this, I got stopped out because of him, or, you know, those are things that, you know, I will take into consideration before I make a decision on putting somebody live, because when you go to live, it's a very different stage, you know, that you're going to be in. So it's something that we always need to be aware of. And again, we're only human, but going back down to one of the two things that I'm always looking for, and I drum it in every time, is adapt. You need to be willing to adapt. We all make a mistake. We can all have a bad day, but you need to be willing to be approached just as you would if you are live, by a risk manager, by your primary, to say, listen, the things aren't going very well right now. Let's take a break, or let's go for a walk. Let's discuss. And if that response is going to be negative in any way, that's only going to be negative on their own performance ultimately at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I would add that the best traders are actually self-aware. They're aware of their limits, their strengths, their weaknesses, and I've seen a lot of them. I mean, I know that a lot of them went through coaching, personal, coaching, therapy, and stuff like that. And I would say that if you really want to build a career and become a good trader, is the skills and the motivation is not going to be enough. Like you build also your inner self to be able to take difficult days, red weeks maybe, and that's gonna take more than just determination, because it can be like a knot, and once this knot is actually released, then we can see a lot more P&L and performance.
Yeah, yeah, and our job is to always help where we can. But if something is too far great for us to approach, and somebody is too far, closed off to accepting that and to understanding that, hold on, I'm getting told by my coaches, I'm getting told by my mentors or my risk managers, X, Y, Z, and I can't change or I can't adapt. That's something that is a deeper problem, and when we need to have that that willingness to grow from an individual perspective.